Hey everyone! So this is another recording of a sequence that I'll be giving this week for a private lesson. So this will be a 90-minute lesson and they requested crow, pincha, and handstand. So this is going to be a long, strenuous class, but and if I had to classify it, I would classify it as a level 2 class. However, just as always, we'll be offering modifications, doing a lot of work actually on our back to kind of condition the muscles to be able to access these poses more easily when we're standing or entering into them from standing. So this is going to be a tough one, but stick with it and I think you'll have a lot of fun, especially if you're interested in inversions and arm balances. Yeah, so we actually won't be working directly on handstand. A little bit of a twist, we'll be working on stag handstand. And we're doing this because in stag handstand, you have the same rounding between the shoulder blades extending around the body in crow and in stag handstand. So to tie these two together a little bit more, make this sequence a little bit more cohesive, we'll be working on, again, crow, stag handstand, and then pincha. So let's get into it, starting on our backs in savasana. And we'll just take a few moments before we really put our body to work to let the rest of the world go and really bring our focus to our mat. So you should be lying on your back with your feet extended. Let your toes drop out. Let the entirety of the backs of your legs melt into the mat. Your glutes are relaxed. Upper body, your spine is melting into the mat. Make sure you're not holding any tension in your shoulders. Let that go. Maybe you can press the back of your head into your mat and bring your shoulder blades down a little bit more. And then hands are down by your side, but put your hands palm facing down so that you can just give a slight little grip or brush against your mat. Feel what your mat feels like. Same thing with your heels. Really give a little wiggle and feel what your mat feels like with your heels. Take a deep breath in here. Open the mouth, sigh it out. One more inhale, start to separate even more from the outside world. And exhale, bring all of your attention to your mat. And keep with a steady breath. And since this is a little bit of a challenging class, find something that you can focus on when things really get tough in class. So maybe it's finding calm in the mind and really kind of blanking your mind out. And again, just finding a nice, calm, peaceful space in your own mind. Maybe it's cultivating an energy to push out into the world, maybe sending to somebody who is in need of a special energy in this interesting time that we're going through. But find an energy or a feeling that you think will help you when we're balancing on one leg and that leg is about to give out. And you can find this nice thought that will help you carry you through in holding that posture. One more inhale, deep breath in, Open the mouth, sigh it out, and begin to blink your eyes open. We're gonna stay in Savasana and actually work some of these poses, some of these main poses of our class on our back. So we'll begin with crow. So from Savasana, draw your knees into your chest. Keep your toes touching and let your knees fall out wide. And then start to curl your shoulders towards your knees and bring your hands in between your knees. So bring your knees as close to your armpits as you can. Again, toes are still touching. Draw your lower belly in, so your belly button towards your spine, so that helps you round your spine even more. We're really trying to push our lumbar spine, our lower spine, into the mat to create a rounding shape in the upper body. Add a little bit more space in between your shoulder blades. So allowing the scapula to reach away from each other as they round through your arms, as they press forward. And then pretend that you have the mat in front of you and you're pressing fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand into the mat. And we're in our crow shape. And finally bring your knees into your elbows and kind of bring some tension between your arms and your legs. So press the insides of the legs against the outside of your arms, and then meet that resistance with your arms. Take a deep inhale here, and exhale, we're going to shift our legs, our knees to the left, and bring our hands to our right side, so kind of coming into an upside down side crow. And hold here, again pressing the outside of that right leg into your left arm. Shoulders are still lifted off the ground. One more inhale here. And exhale, come back to center in our crow shape. Quick inhale here. And then exhale, shift your knees to the left, to the right, and your arms come to the left. So side crow on the other side, chest is lifted, lower spine is still pushing into the mat, and we're pressing our outside of our left leg into the outside of our right arm. Inhale, lift up, and exhale, come back to center. One breath here, lift up, and exhale, release everything back down to Savasana. And now we're gonna do something similar next, where we create the stag handstand shape on our back. So again, a lot of those same sensations, rounding through our spine, our lumbar spine, and our thoracic spine as we work up towards our spine, rounding that, and then also rounding, creating space in between the scapula so that you can reach your shoulders around your body and reach forward, and really creating this hollow body shape. All right, so with your legs extended in Savasana, bring one leg in, so bring your right knee to your chest and leave your left leg on the mat. Toes are going to point, and then we're going to lift our chest, lift our shoulder blades off of the mat, and then raise our arms overhead. Flex your wrists as if your hands are pressing on a floor or your mat. And we're gonna find our stag shape and hold here for one more deep Inhale and exhale. Let your right leg fall back to the lunge. Take a breath here, in, and exhale. Bring your left knee into your chest. Bring your shoulder blades off the ground, toes are pointing, right leg is still straight. Lower body, lower belly is pressing into the floor, bringing your belly button towards the spine. And then we're gonna lift our arms up and overhead, finding that stag handstand shape. And hold this, breathing one nice deep inhale in. And exhale, bring your arms down by your side, left leg reaches forward and release. Take a deep inhale in Savasana, and as you exhale, find your way to all fours or quadruped. So our wrists are gonna stack underneath our shoulders, our hips are gonna be over our knees, so knees stacked underneath our hips. And then we're gonna do a sort of variation of bird dog, but instead of lifting our arms forward, we're actually going to keep our hands pressing into the mat the entire time. So fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand are really pressing in, gripping the mat this entire time. And we're going to move through some, again, bird dog. So right leg shifts out. Your belly's going to drop, chest reaches forward. And then instead of coming into a traditional dog, we're gonna drop the right foot down, toes curl under, and we're gonna pick our left knee up and find that stag shape. Okay, so drop the left knee back down, right leg pops up, belly drops, chest lifts, shoulders draw back, and then your right toes curl under, find the mat, lift the left knee as close to your chest as you can. Drop the left knee back to the mat, right leg comes up, chest reaches forward, shoulder blades drop back, and last time, right toes curl, bring your left knee to your chest, round through the upper back between the shoulder blades, press the mat away, and then drop your left knee down and come back to a neutral spine. And we'll repeat that on the other side. So again, fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand are all pressing into your mat equally, gripping a little bit with your middle finger, index finger, and pinky finger. And then our left leg is gonna shift back. We're not rolling the left hip open, we're keeping it spinning down so that our hips are parallel with the mat. And then we're gonna drop the belly, chest reaches forward, shoulder blades reach back, and then left toes come to the mat, curl under, lift your right knee to your chest. Right knee comes back to your mat, left leg lifts, belly drops, chest reaches forward, and then left toes curl under, right knee to chest, round, right knee comes back down, left leg comes up, belly drops, chest reaches forward, exhale, left toes come to the mat, curl, right knee to the chest, round through the spine. Hold it here, bring your knee a little bit closer to your chest, really press through your hands, and then bring your right knee down. Left knee comes to meet it, and we come back to a neutral spine. We're going to sink our hips back, coming into hero's pose, and we're going to stretch out our wrists a little bit more, since we'll actually eventually be working into those arm balances for crow and inversions for stag handstand. It's a lot on the wrists. So you can come to a seat on your heels or a block, but we will be like shifting forward a little bit, so that might not be necessary. So we're going to start with our fingertips reaching towards the top of our mat, and very simply we're just going to inhale, reach forward, find our edge, and exhale, release, sink back. Gentle wrist stretch here. Inhale forward, exhale back. You can get a toe stretch in too, just for the fun of it, why not? Inhale, reach forward, and exhale, sink back for that toe stretch. Let's do one more. Inhale forward, find your edge and that stretch right where it starts to strain your wrists, and then back off and sink your hips back down. We're going to flip our wrists, so palms are going to face up, fingertips are going to come towards the knees, and we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to sink back and find the stretch, and then reach forward to find the reprieve. Again, you can keep the toe stretch in here just because that feels good on the arches of our feet. So exhale into the stretch, reach your sits bones back. Inhale, forward, release. Exhale, breathe into the stretch. Inhale, come forward. One more. Exhale, hips reach back, find the edge, the stretch in your wrists. Inhale, come forward. Now come back to hero's pose. This next one is going to be a little bit weird. Well, I just think it's not offered as much as the other ones. We're going to make fists and bring our elbows out wide and bring the back of our hands to our mat. All right, so it's gonna look like this. And we're going to exhale down, release, and inhale up. Try and straighten the arms as much as you can while maintaining that fist. It's really hard. And then exhale, let your chest drop, release. Inhale, straighten the arms as much as you can, keeping those fists. Exhale down. Last time, inhale up, find your edge, maybe go a little bit further, hold, and exhale, release it down. Come back to hero's pose, and then meet me in downward facing dog whenever you're ready. Maybe do a quick doggy paddle to loosen those wrists up. I like doggy paddle rather than just shaking it out because I find it's a little bit more gentle after putting so much strain on our lovely wrists. So, and I just think it's cute. But whenever you're ready, meet me in downward facing dog and just do whatever feels good. At this point, it's our first downward facing dog of the class. Make it as nice and juicy as you want, pedaling the feet, maybe swaying your hips from side to side. Breathing into the stretches. Inhaling and exhaling. And when you're ready, find stillness. And really focus again on pressing your fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand into the mat, pressing away. finding length throughout the side body, lifting your hips up to the sky. Maybe you have a bend in your knees to help straighten and flatten the spine. And then come up onto your tippy toes, really press through the mat, and then gently release your heels back to the mat. Maybe you find that they've come a little bit closer. Let's do that one more time. Up onto the toes, hips reach high, and then bring your heels back to your mat. All right, we're going to inhale our right leg up and back, step it forward between our hands into runner's lunge, and then we're going to heel toe our right foot out a little bit and bring our right hand to the inside of our right leg, and then really focus this runner's lunge on pressing the inside of your right leg against the outside of your right arm. So if you're taking crow with your knee outside of the tricep, then this is the action that we want. The inner thighs of the left leg and right leg drawing together and really pressing in our right leg into our right arm, but meeting that resistance with our right arm. Inhale, reach the chest forward, get a nice stretch. And then exhale, find your way back to downward facing dog, and we'll repeat that on the other side. So inhale, left leg reaches up and back, steps forward into runner's lunge. We're gonna heel toe our left foot out and bring our left hand to the inside of our left foot. And again, press the inside of your left leg against your left tricep and match the resistance with your left arm. Inhale, reach the chest forward, get a nice stretch. And exhale, step it back to downward facing dog. Inhale and downward facing dog. And then exhale, shift it forward to plank. Press fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand into the mat and press through the arms, around your shoulder blades, around your body. And then we're gonna lift our right leg up and bring it forward, knee to chest, and then step it back. Left leg lifts, reach it forward. Inhale here, round through the spine and step it back. Let's come onto our knees and take a breath. All right, so come back to plank. And then we're gonna drop down onto our forearms. And then turn your right hand in slightly, come onto the edge of the right foot and roll open to the left side for side forearm plank. And really focus here. You can drop your knee down if you need to modify in any of these planks or forearm planks. Really focus your side plank on trying to get your elbow towards your feet, or if you're on your knee, towards your knee. But create a pulling sensation as if you're trying to get the top of your mat to meet the bottom of the mat. And inhale here, lift the hips, and then exhale, come back to forearm plank, and we'll repeat on the other side. So left hand turns slightly in, and then we're gonna roll onto the left edge of our foot, spin open to the right, and again, find that sensation. We're really working our lats here, and pull your elbow towards your knee. So hold it here. I'm going to go get my dog before he escapes, and take 2 breaths, and when you're ready, come back to hero's pose. So we're going to get into our sun salutations next. So when you're ready from hero's pose, meet me in Tadasana at the top of your mat. Take a nice deep inhale here. That was just the workout, and I'm already getting pretty heated. And open your mouth, sigh it out, let it go. One more time, deep breath in. Open your mouth, sigh it out. And let's find our rhythm in these salutations. So first up is that same runner's lunge shape with our hand inside. It's going to be really quick, but just even if you can pulse your inside of your leg pressing against the outside of your arm, that's great. So from Tadasana, feet are hip width distance apart. We're grounding down equally with our toes and our heels and everywhere in between. Our legs are engaged, kneecaps are drawing up towards our hips, glutes are engaged, lower belly pulls in, your tailbone will slightly tuck in when you do that. Great. Chest reaches slightly up and forward, but if your lower ribs start to flare out, knit those bottom ribs together. And then crown of the head is reaching up towards the ceiling or the sky, and our arms are down by our side. Inhale into Tadasana. And exhale, let's get into it. Inhale, arms reach forward and up, fingertips to the sky. Exhale, bend the knees slightly and fold forward. Crown of the head reaches down towards your mat. Inhale, flat back muscles engage. Exhale, hands come to your mat. Right leg steps back, runner's lunge. Again, that left hand is inside. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts up, steps forward, runner's lunge. Right hand comes to the inside, chest reaches forward, and exhale. Left foot comes to meet your right foot at the top of the mat. Inhale, chest reaches forward, flat back. Exhale, release the crown of the head down. Inhale, roll each vertebrae up slowly, coming all the way up. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway look up, flat back. Exhale, left leg steps back, runner's lunge. Hands are on the inside of our feet. And inhale, chest reaches forward. Exhale, step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg reaches up and back, steps forward into runner's lunge. Hands come to the inside, chest reaches forward. Inhale. Exhale, right foot steps forward. Inhale, halfway look up, flat back. Exhale, refold. Inhale, stack the vertebrae, rolling all the way up. and hands come to heart center. The next is sun salutations with crescent lunge and arms in handstand shape. So we're just flexing at the wrists as if we're pressing against a mat above us. So from Tadasana, feet are hip width distance apart. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway look up. Exhale, right leg steps back, crescent lunge. Inhale, arms sweep forward and up, flex the wrists. Exhale, arms come back to the mat, step back to plank. To downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg shifts up and back, steps forward, crescent lunge on the other side. Inhale, arms sweep forward and up, wrists flex. Exhale, hands come back to your mat, step the left leg forward and fold. Inhale, halfway look up. Exhale, refold. Inhale, curl the spine one vertebrae at a time, reach all the way up. Hands come to heart center. One more time, other side. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway look up. Exhale, left leg comes back. Crescent lunge. Arms sweep forward and up. Wrists flex. Exhale, hands come back to the mat. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg shoots up and back, steps forward. Crescent lunge, other side. Inhale, arms forward and up. Wrists flex. Exhale, hands come back to the mat. Right leg steps forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, release the crown of your head down to the mat. And inhale, curl the spine all the way up. Arms reach overhead. And hands come back to heart center. You warming up? I know I am. Last sun salutations, sun A's with our knee coming up to our chest in plank like we practiced earlier. So inhale, arms come forward and up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway look up, flat back. Exhale, hands come to the mat, jump, step, or hop back to plank. Inhale and plank, reach your right knee to chest. Exhale, right knee comes back. Inhale, press into your hands and plank. And exhale, come knees, hips, chest all the way down to the mat. Arms reach wide for a wide cobra. Exhale, back down to downward facing dog. Inhale, heels lift, knees bend, jump, hop, or step to the top of your mat. Chest reaches forward, look up. Exhale, refold. And inhale, rise all the way up, fingertips to the ceiling. And exhale, hands come to heart center. One more of those, bringing our left knee to our chest in plank. Inhale, arms reach forward and up. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway look up, chest reaches forward. Exhale, hands come to the mat, jump, step, or hop back to plank. Inhale and plank. Exhale, left knee to chest. Left leg steps back. Inhale, press your hands into the mat. Exhale, shift forward, knees come down, hips, chest, everything down to the mat. Bring your fingertips wide to a wide cobra. And then exhale, back to downward facing dog. Lift the knees, lift the heels, bend the knees, jump, hop, or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, reach your chest forward, back muscles engaged. Exhale, release the crown of the head down to the mat. And inhale, slowly curling each vertebrae on top of the other until you're all the way up. Arms come up, fingertips to the sky. And exhale, hands come to heart center. All right, so we should be nice and warm at this point. Now we have 3 sets of our kind of main pose flows, because we have 3 main poses, right? So first we'll work into crow. So go ahead and from Tadasana with your feet together, step your left leg back into Warrior 2. So with our left foot back, our left toes are going to be at a 45-degree angle, pointing a bit forwards, a bit out. Front foot is pointing straight forward. Front knee is tracking towards our baby toe. And then we're creating a sensation as if we're trying to bring our front mat to meet our back mat by pulling the insides of our legs towards each other. All right, so with your back foot out at a 45-degree angle, your hips are going to be pointing wherever they're pointing. They're not necessarily, straight forward at a 90-degree angle from the top of your mat, like some people cue, thinking you're in between a pane of glass. We're not doing that version. Your hips are pointed wherever they're naturally pointing with that back foot at a 45-degree angle, and then our shoulders are stacked wherever our hips are. So pointing in the same direction as our hips, and then our arms come out from there. Shoulder blades draw together. Try to pinch a pencil in between your scapula, your shoulder blades. Inhale here, and then exhale into side angle. Now you can, if you have a block nearby, you can place the block to the inside of your right foot and come into side angle. And again, we're going to work on pressing the inside of our right leg into the outside of our right arm. So stay here for a nice deep inhale in, reach that top arm, fingertips towards the sky or the ceiling, and then exhale, slowly come out, remove the block, and then straighten your front leg, all 10 toes, come to the side of your mat, hands come to your hips, and with a flat back, lower belly pulled in, lower ribs knitting in, as flat a back as possible. We're going to reach our chest forward and come into a wide-legged forward fold. Now, if you want to, you can heel toe your heels out a little bit and bring your crown of your head to your mat so you can stay stabilized with your hands on either side of your head, or you can challenge your balance by bringing your hands through, or you can stay lifted on your fingertips. Maybe you even have a block, but what's really important is that we maintain the flat back. So inhale here for 2, exhale, last inhale 1, and exhale, and on your next inhale, come all the way up. Hands are at our hips, and then we're going to bend the right knee, dropping into archer. Now again, there are a few different kind of heights you can take with archer. You can stay kind of lifted. Your entire left foot is still maintaining contact with the mat, and your right knee is still tracking towards your baby toe. Or you can sink your hips all the way down to your mat, coming onto the heel of your left foot, slowly with control. And you can come into a bind, reaching your armpit as close to your right knee as possible, reaching long and around to find that bind. Left foot is flexed if you're down on the floor. Inhale here for 2. Exhale. Inhale for last 1. Exhale. And on an inhale, find your way back to that wide-legged forward fold. Hands come back to the hips. Rise all the way up. And then we're going to come to the top of our mat, to Tadasana, and work right into crow here. So we're going to, just as if we were in our sun salutations, you can go through the whole movement if you want, reaching the arms forward and up, and then diving forward. Crown of the head comes down, opening up the hamstrings. But hands come to the mat in our forward fold. And then fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand press into the mat. We start to round, create that space between our scapula, our shoulder blades, and our shoulder blades reach around our body, extending the length in our arms. And then we come onto our tippy toes. And you can either stay here and play with shifting your weight forward, looking forward, shifting your weight into your hands, and then maybe lifting, bringing your knees towards your armpits, maybe bending at the elbows a little bit to get into it, lifting one leg, lifting the other leg, or coming into the full variation of crow. Lifting both legs, heels come towards your glutes, and you look forward beyond your mat. Look more forward than you think you should, as long as you're not straining the back of your neck. And hold. If you are not comfortable placing weight on your hands just yet, come back to that shape on our back that we worked at the very beginning of class. All right, hold for 1 more deep inhale. In, bring the belly button towards the spine, and to exhale, you can either shoot back to plank or just roll out of it however you can. All right, great job. So we are going to do that whole first mini sequence on the other side and give you another chance to hop into crow. So let's come back to Tadasana at the top of our mat, and then this time step, I'm gonna face this way if you're watching me so that I'm still facing you and I can talk towards the camera. But from Tadasana, we're going to step with our feet together. We're gonna step our right leg back, left leg forward, coming into Warrior 2. Again, our back right leg, our toes are pointing at a 45-degree angle, wherever that lands your hips. cool. Make sure that your shoulders are stacked over your hips, pointing in the same direction. That left knee is still tracking towards your left baby toe. And inhale, arms reach out, straight out from wherever your shoulders are, so they might not necessarily be directly over your legs. And then again, as if you're trying to pinch a pencil between your scapula, your shoulder blades, reach them back, engage the arms, and stay here for one deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale. And as you exhale, come into side angle. All right, and you can come bringing a block to the inside of your left foot. You can come with your hand directly on the mat, maybe your fingertips, depending on how parallel your left leg is with the mat. And then press your left inner leg, whether it's your knee or your thigh, wherever your arm is, probably closer to your knee. Press that into your left arm and meet that resistance with your left arm. And inhale here and exhale out. One more breath in. And then exhale, straighten that front leg and come back up. All 10 toes point to the side. And lift your chest up, hands come to your hips, and with as flat of a back as possible, pulling your lower belly in, knitting your lower ribs in, reach the chest forward with that flat back. Maybe your fingertips come to the mat. Maybe you have a block. Maybe your head, your top crown of your head reaches all the way down. In this case, you're shifting weight into your toes, challenging your balance. And hands can come on either side of your head or all the way through. Inhale, stay here. Exhale. One more inhale, staying here. And exhale. Squeeze your legs together, inner thighs draw towards each other, and then draw your chest up to standing. We're gonna inhale here. And exhale, drop into whatever variation of archer you took on the other side. So maybe your hips, your sits bones come all the way down to the mat. You roll onto the right heel. I'm on a little bit of a hill, so I'm rolling backwards a little bit too much. You can bring your armpit as close to your left knee as possible and come into that bind. Maybe you can't bind on this side. My left side's a little bit less open. And then if you're in that bind, reach your chest up. Inhale, stay here. Exhale. One more deep inhale. And exhale. On your inhale, start to pivot. Now we're going to get into plank a little bit differently on this side. Start to pivot and come into a runner's lunge. And then you're going to step your left leg back. Just temporarily find your plank, and then your left leg is going to lift, and you're going to bring your left knee as close to your chest as possible. Press the mat away with your hands, fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand, all pressing equally into the mat. you're creating space in between your scapula to really round and create space between your chest and the mat. You're creating more space to fill with your knee. And then on your next exhale, step your left leg back, come all the way down onto your tummy and press yourself back into a child's pose. So that's our first kind of mini sequence, working into crow. Got a nice gush of wind coming, feels wonderful. So we still have two more kind of mini sequences like that where we'll work into first stag handstand and then pincha. So really catch your breath, settle your mind, maybe come back to that feeling that you kind of cultivated at the beginning of class, whether that's just kind of wiping your mind, clearing it, and really creating peace, radiating throughout your entire body. It's doing a lot of work. And when you're ready, come to the top of your mat for Tadasana, but grab at least one block. Yeah, you only need one block. Grab one block and just have it ready at the top of your mat. So we'll meet in Tadasana. Feet are hip width distance apart. You can pick your toes up and then ground them back into the mat and shift your weight a little bit back into your heels. Our knees are drawing up towards our hips. Lower belly is pulling in to protect the lower part of our spine, our lumbar spine. Chest is lifting up, but we're not letting those lower ribs flare out. We're knitting them in, creating a really strong and stable cylindrical core. Hands are down by our side, and we're going to reach the top of our head up towards the ceiling or the sky. Inhale here. And then exhale, shift your weight into your left foot, and your right leg is going to come up at a 45-degree angle. Right foot can be pointed or flexed, doesn't really matter. And with our hands on our hips, we're just going to do some, like it's easy. We're going to do some kind of kick out toe taps, or really just kick outs. So 5 of these. So 5, 4, engage the left glute to keep you stable. 3, 2, and 1. Bring your right leg, actually stay here. And then we're going to slowly transition into standing splits. Again, standing on our left leg. Hands come down to our mat, and that right leg is going to straighten out behind us. We're not letting our right hip roll open. We're spinning that down so our hips are parallel with the mat. And then similarly, we're going to do some toe taps in standing splits. If you need to, bend the knee and bring your belly towards your knee, and then we're going to drop our right foot toes down to the mat. Tap for 5, 4, 3, 2, don't let your hips roll open, last 1, and now you can bring your right foot to meet your left, grab that block, and we're going to stay forward folding, and place that block in between your left quad and your belly. And we're gonna work some stag handstand hops with the block. So this will just help you keep your quad glued to your belly to really help maintain that hollow body shape, that rounded kind of spine, your lumbar and thoracic spine rounding. So give that a try. This is what it will look like. All right, so just a couple hops up into your stag handstand with the block, and then when you're ready, when you've maybe done like 3 hops, remove the block, and we're gonna do the same thing without the block. So again, really focus on keeping your left quad glued to your belly. Toes are gonna point in the air, so come into your standing splits. Again, right hip is not rolling open, we're keeping it parallel with the mat. Fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand pressing into the mat, and then take a few hops. And when you've done maybe 3 hops, go ahead, sit back into hero's pose, or maybe child's pose, and take a few breaths. Catch your breath a little bit, and we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. So steady the breath a little bit. It's kind of like donkey kicks, if you ever did donkey kicks in like middle school or whenever that was. Maybe I did it in gymnastics, I don't know. But those always are like mountain climbers, totally take my breath away, and this is kind of like the same thing. All right, so when you're ready and you've caught your breath, meet me back at the top of your mat in Tadasana. Again, feet hip width distance apart, kneecaps are drawing up towards our hips, so quads are engaged, glutes are engaged, lower belly is pulling in, chest is slightly lifted up, but those bottom ribs are knitting in. Our core is solid, front and back. Our hands are down by our side, palms facing forward, crown of the head reaches up towards the sky a little bit more. And then we're going to shift our weight into our right foot this time. Left leg lifts into a 90-degree angle, and we'll do those kickouts for 5, 4, engage the right glute, 3, we're working those hip flexors, 2, and last 1, stay here and slowly let that left leg drift back as our chest drops forward into standing splits. And you know where we're going, so make sure your hips are parallel with the mat, and then we'll do 5 toe taps. So left toes to the mat, 5, 4, 3, 2, last 1. Bring your left leg back up, find your block, and we'll do those stag handstand hops with the block on the right side, or whatever other side you're doing. All right. So fingertips, knuckles, heels of the hand are pressing into the mat. And then maybe come up onto your right toes, shift forward, and hop. Give me 3 hops. Squeezing that block. Make sure you don't lose it. If you lose it, that's of course a telltale that you're not squeezing your quad into your stomach enough, which again just really helps you maintain the action of bringing your quad to your stomach. Will help you keep that hollow body shape in the stomach, which will help you hopefully find your center of gravity and stick that pose. Okay, so we'll remove the block and do some stag handstand hops without the block. So give me 3 of those. And when you're ready, come back to hero's pose. And I like to think that we're moving into a sort of easier part of the class. I don't think most people would think that normally about Pincha, but I specifically had us do the